Burkhalter, Miss Burkhalter. I will be your EPIC teacher for this upcoming year. It's nice to meet you virtually. Please feel free to let me know your schedule whenever it's convenient for you guys. I would love to get figured out when we can meet one-on-one and really start growing academically this year. Okay, so for the analysis on task 1, I immediately after looking at their scores realized they were doing really well in reading and English. There was only one score that was a little low, but it easily could have been because of just test day jitters. So we'll really focus on some test taking strategies and growing from here on out on that and being calm, cool, and collected, because I feel like that'll really help there. But overall, really amazing on their English and reading. On math and science, they did pretty well. There were a few scores that were a little lower than what I would like to see, and that's okay. I have a plan. The algebra, geometry, statistics, integrating essential skills, and modeling were all a little low in the math. However, functions and number and quantity were really high, and they were very well there. So I feel like we can grow on some of those strengths with functions, and functions in particular with the algebra, and see if we can bridge some gaps there. And then similarly in science, the student did not score quite as well on interpreting data, evaluating models, inferences, and experimental results, but they did really well on the scientific investigations portion of that exam. So again, I feel like we can really grow on the scientific investigation side of the student's learning, and I feel like we can really grow and focus on these units and move forward from there. For my first lesson plan that I created, I wanted to start with the absolute basics to make sure that this student would be set up for success in the future. So as you can see here, I have that the subject and standards covered in this lesson plan would be algebra, ACT prep basically, evaluating algebraic expressions, interpret structure of expressions, and use polynomial identities to solve problems. That those 3 things are the standards for this unit or for this lesson. The objective is to perform arithmetic operations on polynomials, and the only materials the student will need is the assignments that I give them, scrap paper and pencil if they prefer to write out their equations, and a pre-approved calculator because I know they allow that on ACT. I include an algebra resource right here, an extra resource. It has a whole bunch of terms and definitions and example problems, videos on how to solve problems. It was really helpful for me personally as a teacher, so I included that there. And then for my actual instructional sequence, I have here, we will start by defining the algebraic expression. That's obviously step 1. It's going to take 60 seconds. Tell us about I will tell the student about the algebra resource link and explain to them what that is, show them that. And then I want to define variables versus numbers, and review how variables and numbers may be used algebraically. So that includes, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, and how those look both in problems that you'll see on worksheets and in real life situations, so like word problems, and for this student, if they have any interests in cars, things about how these equations can be used for cars, and yeah, so having that written out on a board. And then from there, reviewing PEMDAS and making sure that they understand the order of operations. Through that, a lot of students really have problems focusing on the exponents part of that, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So I allowed extra time there to really write out what exponents are and show them in long form what that looks like, so they can visualize that whenever they just see y to the 3rd power. And then from there, after we've gone through some practice problems there, I have larger practice problem that I would want to solve with the student using guided learning. So 2x plus y cubed minus xy. X equals 5 and y equals 3. I would write that on the board with the student, going through each step of PEMDAS with the student guiding me at this point in the lesson, making sure that they understand really what's going on, and then if they deviate at all from what they're supposed to do, I can catch it right there. And then from there, giving them problems and observing the student learning process as they solve these problems to make sure that they, again, are following the correct steps of PEMDAS and whatnot. So here I have some list of problems. And then for the assessment, again, that digital, or if they prefer print it out and physically write on it, physical worksheet practicing concepts taught in the lesson, as well as the additional algebra resource that I provided for them. So if they have any other questions, they can look that up there. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums up my case study, my lesson plan, and my task 1. Thank you for your time, and I appreciate you reviewing my application.